I had a relationship with my married female lecturer until the whole world found out about our secret. I'll never forget the first time I saw Professor Elena Mitchell. It was my second year at university, and literature was my passion. As I settled into my seat in the large, echoing lecture hall, a woman entered, capturing everyone's attention immediately. She wore her professionalism with effortless elegance, a simple blouse, tailored trousers, subtle makeup. Her chestnut hair framed an expressive face, eyes sharp yet welcoming. She carried herself confidently, yet something in her gaze hinted at vulnerability. "Good morning, everyone," she said clearly. Her voice was gentle but authoritative. "I'm Elena Mitchell, your lecturer for romantic literature." From that moment, something stirred within me, something unfamiliar and unsettling. For the first time, I felt drawn to someone not just intellectually, but physically, emotionally. I pushed the thought away, unaware of the complicated path I'd soon walk. Weeks passed, and Professor Mitchell's class quickly became my favorite. I poured myself into the assignments, eager for her approval. My efforts didn't go unnoticed. "Claire, may I have a word?" she asked one afternoon after class. My heart fluttered nervously as the room emptied. "Of course." She smiled warmly, placing my recent essay on the desk. "Your insights on Bronte were impressive. Are you considering graduate studies?" "Not really," I admitted shyly. "You should," she encouraged softly. "Come by my office tomorrow afternoon. We can discuss possibilities." I agreed without hesitation, unaware how drastically that meeting would alter my life. Soon, our weekly meetings became regular sessions filled with deep conversations about literature, dreams, and eventually, life itself. Slowly, Elena began opening up about her personal struggles, her strained marriage to a distant husband, her loneliness despite her successful career. Her voice trembled as she spoke of nights spent alone, feeling invisible. Each confession tugged at my heart, drawing me closer to her. I found myself sharing secrets, insecurities, and dreams I'd never voiced. An undeniable bond formed between us, and with every meeting, our emotional intimacy grew. One rainy afternoon, Elena leaned forward, eyes glistening. "Thank you for being here. It means more than you know." "I wouldn't want to be anywhere else," I whispered sincerely. Our gazes locked. The air thickened, charged with forbidden tension. She pulled back suddenly, returning to professional composure. But something had shifted between us forever. That evening haunted me for days. My mind replayed her expression, her words, and the nearly tangible connection we'd shared. Soon, conversations extended beyond academics. Our meetings became personal, intimate, hidden from the outside world. Weeks later, after another emotional conversation, Elena unexpectedly reached for my hand. Her touch was electric. "I shouldn't," she whispered, eyes conflicted. "But I want you to," I replied, heart pounding. Slowly, Elena leaned in, our lips touching softly at first, hesitantly. Then, passion erupted, shattering every boundary between us. We knew the risks, but nothing mattered more in that moment than our mutual need for affection, validation, and love. Our relationship flourished secretly. We met discreetly after class in small cafes and eventually at Elena's home when her husband traveled. Each stolen moment intensified our connection. Yet beneath our passion lingered constant fear. At university, we maintained a careful distance, though glances lingered and hearts raced. Each separation became agonizingly difficult. Elena shared more details about her marriage. Her husband Daniel was ambitious, absent emotionally, prioritizing work and social status over Elena's happiness. "It's like living with a stranger," Elena admitted quietly one evening. "I never imagined being this lonely." I comforted her, reassuring her she deserved better. Deep down, guilt flickered within me, but my love silenced it. Months passed, and our secret became harder to protect. Elena grew anxious, her marriage deteriorating rapidly. Daniel became suspicious, noticing Elena's emotional withdrawal. One night, Daniel returned unexpectedly while I was at Elena's home. We narrowly avoided discovery, but the incident shook Elena deeply. "We should stop," she said tearfully afterward. "Do you really mean that?" I asked gently. Her eyes filled with pain. "No, but the risk scares me." Despite knowing the potential consequences, we continued, unable to resist our emotional need for each other. The inevitable happened one chilly Friday evening. Elena and I shared a romantic dinner at her home, believing Daniel away on business. We were lost in conversation, oblivious, when the front door slammed open violently. Daniel stood in shock, his face pale with anger. "Elena, what is this?" She rose quickly, panic in her eyes. "Daniel." "Who is this?" he demanded, pointing at me furiously. Elena trembled. "Daniel, please. Let's talk." "I trusted you," Daniel shouted, voice shaking. He glared at me bitterly. "You're her student." I'm sorry, I stammered. He stepped closer to Elena. You've destroyed our marriage, Elena. Do you even realize what you've done? I never wanted to hurt you, Elena whispered. Too late, he snapped, storming out, slamming the door. Elena collapsed onto the couch, sobbing uncontrollably. I felt helpless, responsible, yet my guilt offered her no comfort. The consequences were swift and harsh. Daniel made our affair public, sharing it across social circles. Elena faced intense scrutiny from the university administration. Her previously sterling reputation vanished overnight, replaced by scandal and shame. She was forced to resign immediately, losing everything she'd worked tirelessly for. Her career, her home, her dignity, all destroyed by our secret. Our relationship fractured. Elena withdrew emotionally, consumed by guilt and humiliation. My attempts to comfort her only deepened her remorse. Eventually, Elena cut off all contact, leaving me devastated and heartbroken, drowning in my own regret. Months later, still consumed by grief and guilt, I transferred to a new university, seeking a fresh start. Therapy helped me slowly process everything that had happened. I never heard directly from Elena again. Occasionally, news filtered through friends. She'd moved to another city, starting over quietly. I wished her happiness but knew my presence would only hinder her healing. Gradually, time brought clarity. Our love had been real, beautiful, yet terribly flawed. I found solace in writing, channeling my pain and guilt into a novel, a reflection on forbidden love and consequences. 5 years later, now working as a writer, I found Elena's memoir displayed prominently in a bookstore. Trembling, I opened it, realizing it was our story, a tale of love, betrayal, guilt, and redemption. Reading her words, I finally understood the depth of her pain and the complex love we'd shared. Her memoir became a bestseller, praised for its emotional honesty. Though she never mentioned me by name, the sincerity was undeniable. Tears filled my eyes. Closure washed over me, bittersweet yet freeing. Our paths had crossed briefly, passionately, painfully, but I'd learned invaluable lessons about love, life, and responsibility. Years later, standing at the window of my apartment, overlooking the bustling city, my thoughts returned to Elena. Our love was dangerous, reckless, unforgettable. Though it ended tragically, it had shaped me profoundly. Perhaps love wasn't meant to be easy or simple. Perhaps true love leaves scars, lessons, and growth. Despite the pain we caused each other, I cherished the memories, knowing Elena had forever changed who I was. Our love would remain a secret story, forever unfinished, gently haunting me as I continued life's journey, stronger and wiser. On to the next story. A story of how I started an intimate relationship with my female mentor. When I first walked into Hamilton & Associates law firm, my heart raced. I'd worked tirelessly in law school for this internship. The elegant marble lobby, the crisp suits, the aura of power, everything inspired me. But it was nothing compared to the first time I met Sophia Carter. Sophia was one of the firm's most respected attorneys. Brilliant, assertive, and fiercely independent, she commanded attention whenever she entered a room. She was strikingly attractive, with sharp features, intelligent eyes, and a composed elegance that left me captivated. She welcomed me warmly, shaking my hand firmly, eyes twinkling with genuine interest. "You must be Amelia," she said. "I've heard good things. Welcome." I nodded nervously, blushing slightly. "It's an honor to work with you, Ms. Carter." "Please, call me Sophia," she said kindly. "We're going to spend a lot of time together." Neither of us knew how true that statement would become. In the weeks that followed, Sophia became my mentor. Under her guidance, I navigated the complexities of high-profile legal cases. We worked late into the night, poring over files, sharing takeout dinners, and discussing legal strategies in her office. I found myself drawn to her, not just professionally, but personally. Sophia was insightful and caring beneath her stern exterior. Yet, there was something hidden in her gaze, a sadness I couldn't pinpoint. Soon, our conversations shifted subtly, becoming more personal. Sophia started opening up, gradually letting down her guard. "Sometimes," she admitted softly one evening, "this job is all I have. My marriage has been struggling lately. Long hours, too much stress. We've drifted apart." I looked at her sympathetically, heart aching for her. "I'm sorry, Sophia. You deserve someone who appreciates you." Her eyes met mine, vulnerability briefly exposed. "It's complicated. But thank you." From then on, our relationship deepened rapidly, fueled by emotional connection and mutual respect. Weeks turned into months. The attraction between Sophia and me intensified, though we carefully ignored it, at least openly. Late one evening, after a particularly stressful day in court, Sophia collapsed into her chair, sighing heavily. Instinctively, I stepped closer, gently placing my hand on her shoulder. She tensed slightly before relaxing, leaning into my touch. Slowly, she turned to face me, our eyes locking. The room went silent, the tension unbearable. "We shouldn't," she whispered shakily. "I know," I breathed, heart pounding. Yet, neither moved away. Finally, she stood slowly, stepping closer. My pulse raced. Sophia cupped my cheek, gaze intense yet uncertain. "Amelia." Before I could answer, her lips gently met mine. Softly at first, hesitantly, then deeper, filled with longing. Time stopped. We'd crossed a line we could never retreat from. Our relationship quickly became a guarded secret. In public, Sophia remained composed and distant, but behind closed doors, passion ignited fiercely. Sophia's marriage deteriorated further, yet guilt often plagued her. She opened up to me about her husband, emotionally distant, focused on his career, seemingly unaware of her unhappiness. Her loneliness made our emotional bond deeper, but it also increased the risk. The affair consumed us. We stole intimate moments in her office, private dinners, or discreet weekend trips outside the city. Each encounter brought joy and guilt in equal measure. However, tension surfaced as our relationship deepened. A male colleague, Jason, noticed our closeness, growing suspicious. Jealous of my relationship with Sophia, he became hostile, dropping hints around the office. Rumors spread. Our colleagues began noticing subtle changes in Sophia's behavior, distraction, secretiveness. She warned me repeatedly about discretion, but hiding our bond became difficult. Jason confronted me privately, accusing me angrily. "You're going to ruin Sophia's career if you keep this up." I denied everything, but panic set in. Our secret was unraveling quickly. Sophia's husband grew suspicious. He followed her one night, catching us in a compromising embrace outside a quiet restaurant. The confrontation was devastating. Sophia's carefully curated life shattered instantly. Her husband wasted no time making the scandal public. At the firm, our affair became headline gossip. Management summoned Sophia, forcing her resignation, while my internship was terminated immediately. Guilt consumed me. I'd cost Sophia everything she'd built. She withdrew emotionally, overwhelmed by shame and regret. "I'm sorry, Amelia," she said tearfully during our final conversation. "This is my fault. I should have protected you." I shook my head. We both chose this. Together. Yet, despite our shared responsibility, Sophia disappeared from my life, leaving me utterly devastated. Months passed, consumed by regret and heartache. My career faltered. No reputable firm would hire me, considering my involvement in the scandal. Determined to move forward, I relocated, taking a modest job far from the city. Therapy helped, slowly repairing my shattered self-worth. Yet, Sophia haunted me constantly. Had I truly destroyed the woman I loved? Meanwhile, news reached me about Sophia's life post-scandal. Her divorce became bitterly public, resulting in significant financial and emotional loss. The legal community shunned her, and her once bright reputation dimmed dramatically. Yet, despite the loss, Sophia found quiet redemption in charity work and teaching law part-time at a local college. Slowly, she rebuilt herself, though shadows of our affair lingered. 3 years passed, each bringing healing and reflection. I returned to school, pursued journalism, and gradually regained professional respect. Yet, the ache of losing Sophia remained ever present. Sophia never contacted me, but occasionally, I heard of her from mutual acquaintances. She had become withdrawn, guarded, though respected again, never fully the woman she'd been before. One rainy afternoon, years after our affair, I visited our old city on assignment. Nostalgia overwhelmed me. Passing a familiar cafe, I stopped abruptly. Sophia sat alone at a table, sipping coffee, older but still elegant. Our eyes met through the window, shock reflecting between us. Hesitantly, I entered, heart racing. "Amelia?" Sophia whispered, stunned yet gentle. "Hello, Sophia," I said softly, taking a cautious seat. An awkward silence stretched briefly. Finally, Sophia sighed deeply. "I never expected to see you again." "I never forgot you," I admitted. "I wanted to apologize." "No," Sophia interrupted gently. "It was mutual. I regret the pain we caused, but never you." Emotions surged between us, regret, longing, closure. We spent hours talking, catching up, finally releasing the burdens we'd both carried. As we parted, Sophia hugged me tightly, whispering softly, "You changed me forever, Amelia. Despite everything, I'll always love you." My tears fell silently, finally accepting peace, closure, and forgiveness. Sophia and I never saw each other again. Our brief reunion allowed healing, understanding, and acceptance. We'd damaged each other deeply, yet learned profound lessons about love, responsibility, and consequences. Our story remained private, forever shaping the women we'd become. Love, even flawed and forbidden, had left its mark permanently. And though our lives continued separately, behind closed doors, would each carry memories of passion, pain, growth, and forgiveness. What did you think of these stories? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and thanks for listening.